Welcome to the Aura Evolution Podcast, a sacred place for you to return home to your soul. I'm Helen Yeaplan, founder of Helen Creates Beauty and the author of the Aura Color Wheel. This podcast is a sanctuary from soul discovery to soul mastery. Each week, we explore aura wisdom, spirit connection, and energy tools to help you embody your light and live your soul's purpose with clarity, joy, and fulfillment. Take a deep breath. Welcome home.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Aura Evolution Podcast. I'm your host, Helen Yeaplan, and I am the founder of Helen Creates Beauty and the author of the Aura Color Wheel, a soul discovery system to help you identify your soul's purpose through your unique soul aura color. And today we're having a podcast guest joining us that we are talking about the quantum and the galactics. I'm so excited about this episode. Now, for those of you who are tuning with us live, this podcast is live every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time across YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you have any questions that's related to the topic that we are talking about, you're welcome to leave any questions on the comment. Now, for those of you who are listening to the audio version, this podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, anywhere that you podcast pretty much. Please feel free to leave a 5-star review to support this work to reach to more people to embody their light. Now, before we begin, I have a very exciting event that it's literally the biggest annual event that I host online for the online community. It's called Discover Your Soul's Blueprint. And there I'm going to help you to identify your soul's evolution blueprint, and you will walk away with clarity of what is your best next soul growth until you embody your light and live your purpose with joy and fulfillment. And there, if you join me live, I will be also able to pick you as one of the receivers for these aura and spirit message reading. People always love it. Basically, I will tune into the quantum and see who are your spirit guides and what messages they have for you. So this event is going to be on Friday, August 28th from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. And if you cannot tune in with us live, the recording is also available for 18 days. I can't wait to see you there. I just dropped the link in the comment. Please join me there and I will see you very soon. Now, today, I'm going to bring you a very exciting guest. Her work is something that I personally am interested in as well. So Deanna Divine is a soul guide, multi-dimensional channel, galactic shaman, and quantum educator devoted to awaken humanity's multi-dimensional potential. So when I talk about spirit guides, we always talk about the star beings. So that's what we're going to listen in today. And restoring your energetic sovereignty. That's such an important thing. She is also the best-selling author of Mastering Quantum Creation, Awaken the Phoenix Within, Manifest Your Reality, and Reclaim Your Cosmic Power. She is also the creator of the Quantum Ancient Codes Oracle deck. Her work is dedicated to activating sacred codes, guiding soul remembrance, and supporting planetary ascension through conscious embodiment. So welcome, Deanna.
Thank you for having me on, Helen. So good to be on your show.
Yeah, and she also have an awesome podcast. I was her guest before, so that's how we get connected.
Yes,
Definitely check out her YouTube channel and Instagram handle, and check out her awesome podcast. Now, Deanna, the first question I ask all my guests is that what is your soul aura color? Do you resonate with the soul aura color quiz reading?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my color is yellow. And you and I had this whole conversation on my podcast when you came on, where I went on this expo in April and I was wearing this yellow dress. Everyone just loved me in this yellow. And they were like, you look so goddessy, so goddessy. And so it was such a beautiful confirmation that that's the color that magnetizes, amplifies my energy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mentioned that when people wearing their soul aura color, they just naturally, radiate more, attracting more compliment, and that's probably why, you choose to wear your soul aura color. Now, for those of you who have taken the quiz, you know that the yellow is in the healer soul gift archetype, and typically, if you're a healer, you have strong heart chakra and yellow, the solar plexus chakra, which is your gut instinct and your compassionate heart, which is the yellow green combination, right? And also, if your soul aura color is in yellow, that means you have a blue aura layer wound. So your throat chakra is one of the wounds that you were born with. Now, when you're taking the quiz, that's typically what is your born, soul aura color. And I know Deanna today, being a quantum channeler and also channel light languages, I'm sure she already put some hard work in her throat chakra, right? So tell us a little bit about your journey. How do you heal your blue aura layer wound, and also like what brought you to do the work that you're doing today?
Yeah, it's just so on point because it's truly what broke me into this new level of work that I'm doing right now. Because I was on the journey for many years, over 35 years, and I did a lot of shamanic work, did a lot of plant medicine and different, Reiki. And there was this moment where I think it was in 2016 where ayahuasca medicine was like, you complete with me and it's time to go galactic. And I was like, what is galactic? I had no idea. And for a year nothing was going on, and we went hiking with friends, and one of my friends was like, you have to sing, you have to sing. She had this download for me, and I was like, I don't really sing. Throat chakra was definitely my last chakra to be opened, and I wasn't confident. I was confident talking, but not when it came to actually singing along, one thing. And we ended up sitting in this beautiful area in Adirondack Mountains, upstate New York, on these beautiful rocks called garnet. Garnet's very rooting, and the whole place was just magical. And I was seeing this beautiful, I would say, sacred geometries that were in golden color when I closed my eyes, and I started humming. And they would just kept on saying, this higher self, this energy kept on saying, just let us through, let us through. And when I did and I surrendered, it was this incredible opera that came out of me, Helen. It was these tones where it was almost like I was observing the experience itself. Like the energy just took over. And my husband and her husband, they were further down, and it echoed through the valley. It echoed through the rocks. It was so loud. It was really otherworldly, and I had no idea that was even possible that I could actually produce it. And that was my first experience with what today I call source language or light language. It was these tones that I brought from my multidimensional self. They were really these divine angelic energies that it just kind of popped open literally. And after that, the next day, wanted to connect to it again, and I did. And over time I just started practicing, getting more confidence. First it was just tones, then the language started coming through. Some of it was, a lot of it was Galactic, Lyran and Draco, and exponentially more and more codes. And this is what I do today. I teach source light language. And when I say teach, because it's not something like we learn one-to-one like any other languages on earth. This is more about multidimensional remembrance. It's about really opening to it, like any type of channeling. So just kind of going into the channel and connecting to it. And so the tools are very similar to connect. The light language is very similar with connecting to any other channeling that would be in English. And since then, music became a big part of my life, and sound healing. And I've never considered myself a sound healer, but today, that's part of something that I do. So I use my voice, I use instruments, and Kundalini activations, activate people's fields, and it's all through the voice. And obviously having a podcast and going on the podcast. So it's been a beautiful expansion of releasing whatever that wounding was. And I think you and I talked about it, like that is, I feel, multidimensional suppression through many eons on Earth for sure, and being in the power, being burned at the stake as a witch, as an herbalist, as all of these powerful roles that I played in earthly reality, but also non-earthly reality, where it was somewhere along the line that needed to be processed and transmuted, and I did through my work, through my experience, and I was ready to for the next level, I guess, in some ways, and I led it through, and now I love being conduit to this energy because it's so expensive and so beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I personally love opera, and I also personally have a blue aura layer wound when I was born. There
Mm.
was no way that I always joke that the Helen 1.0 is able to be, doing public speaking and even on podcasts today. Just exactly what we're doing, right?
Right.
And what changes me is 2018, I had that spontaneous Kundalini awakening. And
Mm.
you mentioned about, I think we have very similar experiences. That's when I start open up the channel, but I'm probably more clear voyance and then clear audience.
Mhm.
So my way of channel is more like visual, like I see, I kind of know. And then I did experience a few times that my spirit guides will use my voice box. So some of the times when I have a video clip, I will be very excited, right? I was like, when you were singing the opera, that channel was open. I'm like, oh boy, I wish I can see it. Like if you get that, video recording, that would be so cool, right? But it would be cool if by the end of the show that you can do some instant channeling. I don't know, like
Yeah,
maybe
we can
get
we can
into.
bring in for sure. I think
Yeah,
this is something I
that
can
would be
tap into
absolutely
this.
beautiful to
Mhm.
see. I personally enjoy channeling, like light language channeling,
Mhm.
especially. So okay, so tell the audience that if they are not, familiar with, what is Galactic Akashic records, how can they help, understand their soul's origin and then their gifts and the purpose this lifetime. I love how the synergy of our work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the synergy is very strong because it's all within the divine soul blueprint. So we're talking about the same thing, just approaching from different places, right?
Hmm.
Through the color, through the information. So what is Akashic, right? What is Akashic field? Essentially, quantum field is the same thing. It's a library of information of the soul. So as the soul has traveled, whether within this galaxy or we can even look at it universally, it has experienced various experiences. And also, we have to remember there's like the soul here, us as human, there's the oversoul, which is the larger soul that is more encompassing, and there's many versions of ourselves, some of them in this galaxy, many aspects, some of them having simultaneous experience in other galaxies in this universe alone. Mind you, then we go outside of this universe and there's over souls that also experience simultaneously other universes and other templates. So it gets really wide and expanded. But ultimately, at the end, I start with this galaxy. I mean, I go outside of it. Usually, we go back to Andromeda Galaxy a little before. But within this galaxy, our soul has experienced different incarnations in different bodies. Before, most of us, before we came to Earth, we had had other experiences, whether in actual form or non-form. It's because it takes a certain level of training to be able to be in this density. And so for us to be assigned here, whether we volunteered or we're actually assigned, there's many questions about that. We had to have these different various other experiences. And so as I look at the clients' Akashic records, we can go back and look at like the origin and the few star systems that usually the soul had experiences, usually more than one.
Hmm.
So often, some have experiences in Lyra systems. So Lyra is where kind of these feline humanoid beings were, kind of in the movie Avatar. In Avatar, the shown is blue with these different features. It's more complex than that. There's different other races, but yes, other lions from other universes were recruited to come to this universe and create this initial prototype. The human body, the humanoid, started in the Lyra system. So this is a project, an experiment that we started as creative beings from Andromeda Galaxy in Milky Way it's actually a copy of Andromeda Galaxy, but with less dimensions. And so we replicate in a template essentially of a humanoid, which is bipedal, which looks in certain way from other universes that have worked as well. And it's really interesting to look at the galactic wars because as I'm looking usually at experiences, starting in Lyra is beautiful paradise planets. It was a beautiful life. Many were healers, compassionate, loving beings in the heart. And then there were other beings in Draco constellation, the Dracos, a more warrior caste. They were not so interested in love and light in service to others, more into service to self. And they kind of in the movie Star Wars. They're the Empire. They had more technology and they wanted to conquer resources. And so they essentially first had an alliance with Lyrans and then they conquer. And this is where a lot of this wounding, I would say, that we experience in today has started really from that initial galactic trauma when the Dracos attacked Lyra. And then there was just a lot of things. It's like all these Lyrans have to go somewhere. So they went to Sirius system, they went to Pleiades, they went to Andromeda constellation and many other places. And so with each star system, they had other, like Arcturians, they're very technological, Sirian are very logical. They're the ones who create the pyramid, the geometry, the Pleiadians are also like the Lyrans about the heart and healing. So there's certain elements within each group that civilization been expanding and developing. So as the soul has experienced more incarnations there, it has those few main qualities. And also woundings. Because of this migration, I'm just going to give an example. For instance, in the Pleiadians, were Lyrans, but it took so long for them to actually make it to Pleiades. They didn't have that type of warp technology. So many of them, when they started the civilization, it was the second, I would say, generation. They didn't want to remember the war. They didn't want to do anything with it. So they were like, I'm going to put the rosy glasses on and just continue on. And at some point, they had to face the shadows. And so there were some rogue groups that got created because they didn't do the healing that is needed to really elevate as civilization. Eventually, they did it, but there was different things that happened there. Anyway, super fascinated with the Galactic because as I look at the client and what they're doing today, back to your question, like what's their sole purpose? Based on what they've done and the other aspects that you and aspects on Earth that came in Atlantis and Lemuria in Egypt, you can see like if it's a high priestess, most likely, she's like me. She's probably yellow or green. I would assume like there's certain qualities of a healer of these.
Yep.
It would be interesting to do an analysis. Actually, we can do a sample control group, Helen, between some of my sample students and then have them do your quiz. It would be really interesting to see what soul blueprints they come up with. But yes, there's I think a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, it's really resonating with when I had my Kundalini awakening, I really see that we are all just one light bulb. It's almost like the Big Bang, like before the Big Bang is just one. There is one source of light. And literally when what happens is when it explode, kind of like the Big Bang theory kind of exploded, it's the souls becomes stardust. Like we ended up in different star galaxy systems. You are talking about almost like identifying, looking at the Akashic record and see our soul, where is the origin? Like it's almost like your cosmic or your star origin where we were before we dropped down to Mother Gaia. Before we all down, some souls spends a little bit more lifetimes in the star system before they come down to Mother Earth. Some come immediately, like that's kind of the vision that I see. That's why a lot of spiritual teachers said that at the beginning we're all one, like there was no separation. At a soul level we're all this ball of light, and then we come down. And I guess it's very interesting to like I'm definitely think there is some connection with the soul aura color, what that ball of energy that you were born with, based on your galactic origin, like where you come from to begin with. That's interesting. How would you? I'm also curious. Like, is it like did you get this knowledge or this soul memory or this knowing, of the different galaxies, star systems, and all that during that, activation time? Like, I'm just curious. Like, what happened to you at the time that
It
made
was
you
something
like,
that was developed. I did a lot of work with Debbie Solaris. I finished her course. She gave some information. I think it's collection of information, but for me, I've learned a lot about it. That's just the information, right? But then a lot of it for me came through the frequencies themselves. So through the light languages, because there's so many frequencies, and it's more, the information is interesting in the records, but it's also like the origins of like where this frequency is, because the frequencies, like you said, it's symphony, right? It is back to oneness. It's back from pleroma, which is the true void, the Sophia, which is like the aeon that created this experience for us here in this universe and other universes. She, she's like the divine mother, right? But ultimately, yes, we all going back to the source of oneness. And the frequencies is almost like colors, as you know, like different rays. And so when I hear them or perceive them in that way, I've always perceived them as colors, or like the origin of sacred geometries.
yes,
And I think the stories and all of that is just more what we collecting from the galactic knowledge through different historians, through me looking at the Akashic records, also me also sometimes doing hypnosis on quantum healing hypnosis. That's my other modality that I offer to the clients, where I take them into their past lives. They go into it themselves. So it's not me looking. And sometimes it's in Earth and sometimes it's off Earth. So it's almost like gathering information. Dolores Cannon, many know, she's done a tremendous amount of historical work with a lot of her clients. And so I think many, I'm like standing on shoulders of many giants. Those who've been collecting these pieces, I think we've all been collecting these pieces of the galactic knowledge and constantly reliving it with the clients, because as we go, the time is alive. It seems like it's in the past, but really my perception, it's all parallel. So like we all simultaneously experiencing it. So whether I look at it like a movie or they experience it themselves, I'm literally there with them, and it's so real, like it's happening in this moment. So that is like really exciting, interesting part of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I see, in the quantum. That I think I even shared this either in my podcast or as a guest, that in the quantum field, it's parallel, like different versions of you. It's not past and future, it's all together at the same time. That's living at the same time. And then when I did also past life regression, we call it past life regression. To me, it's past and future. It doesn't matter. It's your quantum versions of yourself regression. And then you can see into the different versions of the soul, what is going on, like simultaneously at the same time, which is so awesome. That's exactly what I did, what I do in the Embody Your Light course. I do like a group session. It's typically a small group. It's not like a huge group, that I'd be able to almost like seeing a movie. So like, okay, so this is the set of life you're playing right now. And that's another set of life, you're playing. It's very, very cool. So I didn't know that you do this type of work too. No wonder that our, like almost the wisdom that it's coming in is from the same source. It's like we can tune into the same thing. And it's always so glad to have confirmation from other spiritual workers also, that what I'm seeing is not like I'm not just making this up. It's like, others have this frequency, it's able to tune in that as well. Now you remember, you mentioned quantum healing. I want to understand that, in your work, what does that mean? Because different, practitioners take quantum healing into different level. I want to see like what that means for you. And how is it different from traditional, energy healing or mindset work?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question, because I think you're right. Everyone interprets things differently. I think my perspective on energy work is much more multidimensional. And I did start as a Reiki master on my journey. Reiki is really what activated a lot of my energy field. And then just like you, I had Kundalini awakening in 2011, and that was also it wasn't spontaneous. Actually, Patrick Zieler, who does what's called Sekhem energy or all love energy, he had initiated into this energy while sleeping in the pyramid, in the Great Pyramid in sarcophagus, when he was 20 years old or something like that. And so he activated my field to fully go into the Kundalini experience. And that was very intense. I was in it for
Yes.
an hour standing, and then like it was so intense. And so after that, of course, a lot of my perception of reality has shifted. And so today, I think, and he actually, what was interesting, he actually told me, I had this book with me on Reiki, and he's like, put the book aside, put the symbols aside, just allow to tap into the field, and what is needed in the moment is the true healing. And I think really when I teach the foundation of quantum healing, it's the same idea. I'm teaching them the basics, like, just like you are, like how to identify different layers of the body, different auras, different colors, different scans to do. And I just read into distortions and really bringing back the body into that original soul blueprint means that nothing is wrong with the being. The being is perfectly angelic being. It's just got distorted through fragmentation, through noise, whether it's 5G towers or the food they eat or the conditioning from the society or the conditioning from the ancestors in the childhood. And there's always layers. And so you got to unpeel it, right? And so for a practitioner, it's really to read the field of the other and tune into the densities, tune into these blocks, these knots of energy as I see them, that preventing actually the Kundalini flow to just be naturally running in the vital, thriving way the being needs to have it. And so as you pick and figure out these distortions, I actually teach them how to use light language to clear it out, because light language for me is the source language. It is the multi-dimensional language, and our higher self knows already how to do this. So if we get out of the way and we know how to trust it, it knows how to move that frequency out, transmute it. It's alchemization, because energy itself doesn't go anywhere. It just changes states. So someone has to change the state of it from, density to light. And allow the other to release it, because it no longer matches vibrationally to who they are. So for me, it's a lot of it. It's kind of like that. It's very multidimensional. It's very guided, and having framework of foundation is good. But ultimately, releasing all the tools and just being very present to and entangle to the other. And it's in some ways it's kind of like channeling, but it's more through quantum entanglement, because if we all one, there's no separation between us. There's no time and space. So no matter where you are in the world, I should be one particle here, another particle here, and we can act simultaneously in the same way. So I can tap into anyone's field, and I can be their field, and I can be them as I'm doing the work. And they're going to experience real time the work on themselves. And that's exactly what happens. So any type of healing that I do, they feel it. All of a sudden, and to transmute, different people do it differently. I actually have some programming. So it's like I burp it out like a shaman, it collects. And then it comes out. Or, but I can tell just, based on what's happening in my field, because I tune to them, I become their mirror, what exactly is going on. And it's very guided too. Like my channel is open for me to trust it and know exactly this is what's needed for the other person.
This is absolutely beautiful. I want to go back to that, but I hear some kind of like a natural hum. I'm not sure if the listeners who are currently with us live, I just want to make sure the audio is clear enough for you to hear. So write in the comment if there is any interference sound, and let us know. I'm not sure if our energy is too high or what. I want to go back to or energy and frequency. Who knows, right?
Technology sometimes is having, and that's the thing. It's the. I think what you were hearing is my computer processor, and I think this is a perfect point, because I like to bring this in. So when we talk about wounds, a lot of it remember we talked about all these galactic traumas. So imagine it's like I'm opening a computer, I have all these tabs open. And then the process of like my computer right now, I just closed all these tabs. It's like having a hard time. And so it's creating that humming, because it's like it doesn't have the capacity to process. So sometimes we need to close the tabs or reboot altogether. Just like close it all up. So then there is more space for us to heal, to process energetically, to expand. So you see, the hum just went away.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, okay, is it like already getting high frequency here?
Yeah.
And I was just so resonating when you describe your quantum healing process. Because when I do, spirit message reading, I also tell people that I don't even need you to be here with me physically, because we're so connected, all I need is just a picture of you, almost like for me, because I'm clairvoyant, it's just like a connection that I make. Okay, this is the energy that I want to tune in of this person, right? And then you become a channel, and then you just receive all these messages, and then you can just let them know, so it's another confirmation that what I'm doing is not just like it's real. You can just do it. You don't have to be physically with that particular soul to be able to tap into that quantum field, because especially when you mention about the healing your blue aura layer wound, to me that's the ethereal template or layer. So basically it's like almost like everybody has like a holographic, sometimes I see like a holographic 3D projection of them actually coming out from the blue aura layer, literally like the throat chakra. So it's like, I pretty much like, if I step into the field, I can already see what's projecting, like on the whatever you said on the screen or what's going on. So that's another thing. I think once you tap into that energy, like that throat chakra energy, that's what's projecting, and then the different versions of the soul is coming in. I find that fascinating. And you have a similar way when you describe it, like you tap in and see. There were two questions I immediately think, one is like, I wouldn't mind asking you myself. It's like, after you channel, you work with a client, how do you cleanse your field so that you're not in there, for people who are doing this work? I think that would be a great takeaway. What's your personal energy clearing after you do the channeling? And the second is, that's also very, very interesting to know for people who are not even doing this work, you should know, is that, like, I also see the knots, the fragmentations and all that. I completely agree with you. There's nothing wrong with this being. It's all we need to do is to restore their light. Okay. But what if you don't do that? Like, what if we don't clear, this light? What if we just like keep on doing it? How would that block them from manifesting abundance, health, loving relationships, like all the things they want on the earthly realm? What does that happen? Now, that's an implication even to, people who are not doing this work. So those are the two questions for you.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the spiritual hygiene. Great question too, because I think it's really important to bring that up.
So important, yes.
Especially because you and I do so many readings, tap into so many fields. And I think for me, there's different ways, the way I teach my students, like I give them some protocols and some, we use some sacred geometries and things like that to stabilize their field first. And every time they open someone's records or do any type of healing, they make sure they use these protocols to ensure they are very stable and they have very strong sovereign fields, so that, they operate from that place. Like if you're tired or you're not feeling well, maybe it's best not to do this type of work with someone else that day, because your field is just vulnerable. But for me, I guess I build over years these, I call them antiviruses, these programs in my field, and I have very complex sacred geometry. So nothing really sticks to me, meaning, yes, I process a lot of energy, I burp it out, but if anything that is not of my sovereignty, of my programming, is still remnant, it's going to release out. I might, and it's very interesting, Helen, it's delayed, because I might be done already completely.
Right.
I'm a little like still little things coming out, and then I go downstairs, let's say I meet my husband, and then in 3 minutes, it's like I can feel it. It's like building up, building up. It's like a valve, and then another big burp comes out. Oh, I'm still processing that energy. It's still coming out of me because
Yes.
the energy is still, because we entangle to others. So it still goes through our fields. It still goes through our systems, and we use our systems to process them. And so it's kind of self-scanning itself and make sure that I'm in alignment so that nothing that is not of my programming, my own sovereignty and who I am stays with me, or any denser energies, they just release out. So that's kind of how I work. So it's automatically, but then still, checking in, and then on a daily basis, of course, like doing my own practices of self-love, self-care, gazing at the sun, grounding, all, eating the right foods. I think it's more than just like a one-time thing. It's a way of being, of this way of living.
Yes.
You're always ensuring that you are a pure channel of light and energy, and that your channel is as undistorted as possible. And so that includes consumption, food, information, news, all
Yes.
types of consumptions that goes through a system. And how are we in alignment or not, and doing these scans on ourselves? I think that is super important. And then, of course, you can use, I have a lot of cool tools that we've developed, quantum tools. Like I have this incredible selenite wand that just like clears the field. I have these, on my Etsy, I sell these quantum crystal balls. Like if I put them in my field, it creates scalar fields. So that creates also an alignment. So my field right away amplifies, supports, but also clears anything that's not out of alignment. So I'm also using a lot of tools to support. And if I do Kundalini activation work on people, usually, I always use a little bit of scalar to support me. Sometimes I wear these scalar belts. We've been kind of taking this, I guess, shamanic protocols, these shamanic ways of like how we're supposed to do it, and then build in, modern technology, but also it's like ancient with modern, because scalar energy, like in the pyramids, existed here forever. But how do we use them now for ascension tools, for my own work, for holding spaces? It's been really wonderful to implement that. And then when it comes to your second question about, that's what I write in my book, Mastering Quantum Creation. It's like we absolutely need, so within my book, I can explain it's like 3 phases. It's like first phase is remembering, that's first part of the book, then expansion, and then mastery. So, in order to step into mastery, and we are already master beings, we just forgot that we are. And in order to expand and really attract, like we say, or create the abundance and reality that we want, yes, we have to become that. We have to embody that. We have to step into that self-love, into those levels of initiation and these levels of evolution of our soul. And so if we're still operating in lower density, if we're still in third density and suffering and wounded and in victim programming, and that still sits in your field as these knots of energy, and you block, energy is not moving, you can't feel your heart, you can't speak your truth, you processing solar plexus, all the usually the fears, the doubts. It's a lot of the places usually that I do a lot of clearances, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the main ones, of course, sometimes not being able to see. So here, yes, we need to, it's like unpeeling the onion, right? You need to remove these layers to get to the essence of who you are in order to start expanding, in order to evolve into the light being that you are, and remember that. And so that you can continue living your life in third density. I mean, ignorance is a bliss, maybe for some. But I think if you use a star seed and you're on a journey and you're here to evolve, and I don't know if Earth is a school per se. Some say that. I don't. In some ways it is, and in some ways it's more than just a school. I think it's a petri dish that many galactic beings created. This is, we have over 30-something galactic DNA of all the species of this galaxy. I mean, we're really interested in species, and we have incredible potential because we are so multidimensional down to our DNA codes and our cellular memory. I do believe we can become what the template meant to do, which is become Oraphim, which is this angelic human being with activated more than 12 strands. Some say 12. I believe true Oraphim is 48 strands of DNA. So incredible, right? So as Gaia is evolving, she's, stepping back into her fifth dimensional consciousness, Tara, and seventh dimension, we evolving with her, which you haven't really seen in this galaxy. This is kind of interesting experiment that's happening. Those who are committed themselves on the soul journey to be here with her and evolve their human potential and their human body as well, and mutate their DNA, activate all these codes within. It's incredible what we're going to see. I think, Helen, like even from quantum perspective, there's all these new scientific methods like quantum biology. They've already proven the DNA is producing biophotons, like we're producing light, essentially. So
yeah, I just feel like that science field is just catching
up. Exactly.
They're not even there yet. It's like if you tap into that intuition, like that soul memory, like inside of us, is like far more advanced than what science is trying to prove what is going on. But it's also good. It's a confirmation, just like you said, right? Yeah, it's just like
we need confirmations. It's nice because sometimes our logical mind needs that confirmation. Some of us who are already mystics, we just have the inner knowingness, Gnosticism, the inner standing. So it's really about understanding through the inner knowingness, through the 0 point of the heart. But others are still not fully there, and so they need the science to back it up, to prove it, and then maybe that will help them to get into that journey as well. But ultimately, yes, to create the abundance and the reality we want, we have to put our intentions into the field. We have to be in a certain coherent state where the body, the brain, and the heart operate in coherence. We have to be stable in that field, not in chaos. So it's like going hunting, right? We have to shoot the arrow into the universe when we're in a certain state. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. So, because the way the quantum field operates, everything is available. And so, but how do you focus your energy? How do you concentrate to co-create with the universal energy? That is that level of mastery of creatorship that we forgot how to do, but it's possible for us as we open ourselves. Because the key formula is really energy times capacity divided by resistance. So if you can release resistance, let it go, which is so hard for a human to do, because the ego is trying to control. That's third density, and step into fourth density, which is the heart. So not being in transactional mode. What did you do for me versus what did you do for you? This push and pull energy, but step into that heart coherence, that heart relationship, and then start co-creating from that place. Everything just starts flowing with you because it's overflowing. There's no transaction here. Oh, I'm going to give it to you versus what you give. No, it's just, it's enough for everyone. It just is. It's just like the colors of the rainbows. There's so much there. And so the capacity of light just keeps on growing because now we have more energy. So the key is release resistance, surrender.
It's so interesting because I really think we're just using two different languages talking about the same thing. Because when you were like, first of all, I do think that we are here to evolve, and that's the whole theme of the Aura Color Wheel. The whole book is talking about. That's why this podcast is called Aura Evolution, even. So that's exactly why we are in our school to begin with. And also, when you talking about, peeling the layers of the density, the energy, and all of that, so that you are in the flow of manifestation, of all the good things in life. That's exactly what I was saying. What I was saying, that the different aura layer have different, like the yellow aura layer is the limiting beliefs, right? The red aura layer has some ancestral patterning we need to rewind, or the orange aura layer or the sacral chakra, some negative emotions we need to unstuck, right? Like all of these, just peeling out these different layers of the blockages, or the energy blockages, so that we can return to this light that we were born with. And we are the master of our own reality. At that point, we can pretty much choose our energy. It's almost the observer's effect. Now you set an intention because your field is so clear. You just sense just like what you said, the bone arrow. You just sense the signal to the universe, so clear intention. Okay, this is it. And because you're so in alignment, and then what happens that I would tell people, I use a lot of examples of even happening in my own life, is that because when you're so in alignment, you just send out an intention and you invite the universe to co-create with you with that infinite positive energy, the possibilities. And then you attract opportunities, synchronicities, and the right people in your life to almost like bring that vision to fruition. And it's much easier and in flow of type of manifestation than the three density, the way of like you chase, you push, you grind. It's a very different way. When your field is clear, that's what's going to happen. People call it magic or miracles, or I use the same way actually heal my mom's first stage liver cancer. It's because of the field. Once the field is clean, you can either heal or manifest into a different version of the reality, because that's already in the quantum anyways. You're just not accessing it yet because you need to get to there in order to do that. And okay, I guess that's what you name it. That's why you name it mastering quantum creation. Because once you are in that field, like you are in that alignment, that your light is restored. And that's exactly what I help people to do in my signature
and
course.
And you also evolve in densities, so your consciousness.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We don't want to say it's linear, but from human perspective, it's like going to elementary, and then going to middle school, and then high school, and then college. Like you do eventually mastering in the way that your consciousness expands, because you can have more perspectives. You raise in density, and so you can hold multiple truths simultaneously, multiple realities simultaneously. So it becomes easier in some ways to co-create and command reality together with you, because then you expand in that level. So like higher frequency beings from other dimensional realities, they essentially master in the quantum creation. They constantly created quantumly just with their thought alone. Just like that.
Yeah, that's exactly well, that's beautiful. That's exactly what I was saying, that I help people to restore their light. And you take, like in my Embody Your Light course, and you take them even further of expanding their consciousness into this tell us a little bit deeper about what it is to mastering the quantum creation. What does that mean to you? And what does it mean when it include the galactic consciousness, the higher dimensions, and also the soul's multi-dimensional nature? I think that's what you were trying to bring in.
Yeah.
That's like almost the next step. Once you get rid of all these, unblock all these blockages, now you're a light being. Let's step in that zone. So
so there's different levels, right? So from like the levels that I captured, and there's many more than that, from my own journey, so as you move from third density into fourth density, and you're opening your heart, right, you start going through this process of letting go. You letting go of, the realities, maybe the old paradigm ways of doing things in relationships and in work, and everything starts changing. And eventually, through letting go process in this fourth stage, you really burn through a lot of the karma as well. So karma no longer becomes an issue. When you step into this fifth density or fifth level, my perception from my journey has been you step more into your monadic self. You start consolidating, actually. And when I say consolidating, you really understanding all like aspects of yourself, but becoming like a pearl, like more and more. So like I was talking about the different tabs open. So it's like closing the timelines and no longer serving you, and bringing in only the timelines to do. So you're stepping into your alpha avatar, primary avatar self, meaning this version is very aware of all other versions, and at the same time it's like stepping into its sovereignty and its mastery and understanding of the monadic self. And then that's really the next step, which is the mastery, which is the sixth stage. It's like someone who's willing to, be trickster in some ways in this reality, and really create and play, and no longer abiding by the densities of being weighted down. It's like let's go create together, and from there you start integrating, and then becoming more and more of that divine instrument of the Sophia energy and light, and then from there it's like more and more subtle energies, but essentially my perception, we stepping back into the innocence, back into the play, being this really pure energy of pleroma. And pleroma is the fullness. It's like the true void. It's before all the distortions, before the fallen angels, before the fall here. It's like that pure energy. It's like when I think of it, it's like, I don't know, angelic. It's these galactic fairies that are so fun. They just like pure joy. And
exactly, pure joy. You should see the picture. There is an image in my third eye when I channel the system, and that's exactly what you're describing. That I need to show you that picture. And then that's literally what you just said. It's literally the last.
Bring them in, because like the galactic fairies are fun. They're like, so they're like,
oh, I love that. My whole body has chills when I receive that.
Oops. They just remind you how serious we take in this reality, and it's really about play.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what I try myself to return to back that joyful stage. And that's also all my artwork is about. It's like, it's about joy. And literally what you just said, it's literally on the last page of my book. I mean, it's like, oh wait, you just said, that's my hope. Like to see one day that we're going back to that stage, and I'm so wow, I'm still have full body chills of what you just channeled through, the joyful energy. That's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so for someone who is feel called to that star lineage or the galactic mission, what are some signs that they can remember, or their soul remembrance of, like, what are some signs that's a deeper awakening or deeper remembrance of their mission? Because we need to awake more people, awake more souls to do this line of work. So like, and what are the first steps that they can take to be in alignment to that soul's mission?
Yeah, I think ultimately, we literally just talked about what makes this the soul mission, which is joy. It's like, if you are in alignment to,
that's my first line. I literally have a joy like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
I love that.
It is, I mean, some of us signed up for bigger tasks too. Besides activating beautiful beings on Earth, I'm also working on the grids, and that's something I've done when I was an Andromedan here, building grids before any civilization was here eons ago. And that's in the Akashic records. And so, some of us have certain projects, so to speak, that we've been more involved with, and we have certain soul calling to do. And it's like, how do you know? It's like, when you're doing it, it's just, you feel completion, you feel this is like guidance, you feel like you need to go to certain areas, and sometimes it's just your energy field that interacts with the place. You've always been interested in ancient history, or there's certain elements that like attract you. Everyone has their own kind of archetype, and some of us are just born healers. So if you feel you want to help humanity, and you want to heal others and work with others, and so then that brings you joy, and you feel expansion from that, then that's a direction to explore. And sometimes working, for some it's with children, some it's with adults. Every one of us experiences reality in different ways, and so ultimately I think it doesn't have to feel like work. It has to feel like your whole field just gets nourished, like you're present with the other, and you hold in that light for them. So I do see each one of us, you on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, like we're these beacons of light. We hold in these nodes of light for others to remember who they are, because each one of you already has the remembrance, and just start noticing what feels good for you. Like, and you should feel it in your body. It's resonance. So like your nervous system calms down. You just feel much more peaceful. Maybe it's sound healing. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's just being by the beach. Like, or you resonating with certain people or certain healers. Like there's so many, influencers out there, but there's those who love your energy, Helen, and there's those who love my energy, and there's certain resonance because
Yes.
it feels home for them. There's aspect that activates for them. And they're, whether it's the fairies, whether it's the Lyrans, or whatever that is, they just, they're like, oh yeah, like the heart frequency, or, my, someone likes more like neutral technological. They might be more Acturians, because Acturians are very technological based. They're also peacekeepers, and they're beautiful. So in my field, I have a lot of Acturian friends because parents and Acturians always work together. Because there's an aspect of me that's very like technological and likes to understand systems, but the other aspect is very compassionate and heart oriented. So it's like you have to follow your joy formula. That's really how it should be, and it should be an adventure. Like I believe we making it so hard on ourselves, but if we remember how we were as kids and we were playing in like
Yeah.
one sandbox, but then we're like, oh, I want to go explore and I want to explore this. So be curious, go explore, be open, because there's so many different paths, and it's like up to you to figure out what really like brings that excitement for you.
Yeah, I'll let that joy as your compass. That's sometimes I would say, let that joy energy that you just channel through, that feels a lot of fairy like energy. That just let that as your guidance. What is one simple practice can listeners use to connect with their higher self and create a more aligned timeline?
I think it starts with stillness. So
Mm,
start your day with, it can be just like even 5 minutes of meditation or breath
yes.
work, of bringing yourself, into this moment of contemplation, how you want to start your day, but really being still with yourself, and maybe even setting the intentions for the day, how your day you would like to unfold, how magical it would be. Because, just knowing what you are in your frequency, you might be not having a great day. Like it's kind of rainy today, and I was like, But then, I was just checking in, and then I was shifting. You can always shift your vibrational state as well. It's like, I'm going to have a magical day. I'm going on Helen show, all these things. So you get to create from, just your desire alone. And so I think having a practice that brings you even throughout the day. Sometimes I have these little notifications on my calendar. I call them, recalibration reminders.
I love that.
They're like on my calendar, they just like come up, and it's like recalibrate, and just like check in with yourself. It's like, ooh, how am I feeling right now? Am I overwhelmed? Am I full of anxiety? Or am I really in peace right now and very still? And if I am full of anxiety, maybe this is in my moment to just take a few deep breaths into the heart. And exhale out, releasing anything that's not serving me. Another deep breath in and breath out. And then imagining anchoring yourself to the Mother Earth. So you can imagine like opening a pyramid of light, anchoring to Mother Earth, or roots from like a tree coming down. Any way we can choose to be here. I think that's really the key. Sometimes we're really out there in the air and we're really airy, and that's what creates a lot of anxiety in our mind. And the more we bring ourselves into this body and embody ourselves fully through all the dimensional layers, then that helps us to be really present. The presence cultivates that sense of peacefulness and stability, and what I call like going into the 0 point of the heart, like really zeroing in. Then you're here, like not somewhere else. Because what is anxiety? Anxiety is living in the future. Depression is living in the past. But if you're here in this moment, in the now, you're just here. And then there's this sense of stillness and stability of who you are. And there's no like, what if? No, what is? Just is. Just being. And just being grateful for being in this moment. And I think that's really it. It's really simple, but I
Yeah.
think it's about cultivating that stillness within ourselves. And as we cultivate that stillness, that's when we're able to listen. And as
Mm-hmm.
we listen, that's what allows us to connect to our higher self. Because in listening, in the stillness, in the 0 point of the heart, we created that connection, right? It's all
Yeah.
available, it's all there. But because we're so erratic, we can't even hear the real voice. So yeah, just ground it in.
Yeah, I think in real, we can definitely be very good friends even in real life. That's how I start my day, by the way, and that's what I tell all my students and clients. I said that if there's only one thing you can take, it's too much. Otherwise it's over your head. The only thing you need to do is to sit down and meditate. That's
Mhm.
it. And you want just 5 conscious breath that you just said. It's literally that,
Yeah.
because it's like prayer is how you talk to God, but meditation is how you listen to God. If you do not be still and be present, there's no way you can hear it. If your to-do list is like every single minute, how will you hear that higher, how do you connect with your higher self? How do you hear the calling of your spirit team? You can't. So that's it. I beautifully said, Deanna. I totally agree. Go ahead and go back to the center. Go back to that heart center. So if listeners want to work deeper with you, how do they find you? What offerings do you have coming up? Tell them.
Yeah. So yeah, if you go on my website, dianadivine.com, or it's
Okay.
dianadivine.com, so you'll find all my information. My Quantum Academy is there. And I am opening a 6-week cohort that starts September 14th. And it's just really like quantum healing certification for those who want to step into this work. And even if you don't want to be a practitioner, but you want to learn how to open Akashic records or to do quantum healing, kind of what we just discussed, and go deep on how to also activate your light language, because I offer a complimentary course that you can take even before we start the cohort. And it's beautiful. It's very international from everyone tuning in. We have videos every week that gets released, and then we have a Zoom call once a week on Sundays. So I had a really beautiful spring cohort and their friends, and now they're all going to be in Spain together, as I'm going to be in UK soon, supported me some of my earth grid work. So it's a really beautiful soul community. And I know, Helen, for you it's the same. Like we attract in all these beautiful people to really stay in touch in a certain vibrational frequency, who are ready for evolution of the soul. And
Yes.
I see myself holding these containers for you to give you permission, I would say, to do this work with me, because you're ready for it. And yeah, you can always grab my book. It's available on Amazon, 5 languages now, I think. Mastering Quantum Creation,
Wow.
Awaken the Phoenix Within, Manifest Your Reality, Reclaim Your Cosmic Power. And I have my Oracle deck. Let's open a card, Helen. That would be fun. From my
I love that. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
confirmation card would be
Yeah.
fun. I love always opening one. All right, let's see. I can just do it again. All right.
I'll make sure I'll put all the links in the show notes so you can grab and check out.
Yeah, I got this one, the Mayan temple. So you have this Mayan
Mayan
shaman in the
temple.
temple.
Yeah.
And this one is about time codes activation. Ancient temples were built to hold memory across past lifetimes. Your lost soul fragments begin to return and integrate. So I think this kind of validates a conversation about integrating all these aspects of ourselves and really stepping into all these versions that this Mayan shaman was me, actually. One of my
I love that.
my last soul piece I integrated recently, only in May. So
Wow, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely beautiful. Well, you have some great work coming in soon, right? Like in Glastonbury. I'm just curious, for those who are new or have not heard of Earth Greek work, can you just briefly tell us what that is?
Yeah, I think everyone does it differently. I get called to certain places on Earth where energy kind of opens to recalibrate. We have all these ley lines going in megalithic sites. Most of my work actually has not been necessarily with the existing megalithic sites, but I have all the Mayan temples back in 2012 without even fully being aware what I was doing, but I was doing some work on them. And then, now, and I remember that I was a Mayan shaman, and so it was part of this work. But it's kind of like we get guided. There's certain energies that run through the earth, and just like the meridians in a body, right? So there's certain places where, like a Kundalini activation, it's we releasing the energy and we allow the meridians to now open up and fully flow. And ley lines grids got hijacked by different nefarious beings over the course of time, and things are really shifting, right? Sophia is recoding right now the encodements and these densities, and so more things are opening up because also she's doing the work and everyone's come together. We all activating as well, collectively start remembering. And so Mother Earth is also alive. Tara is alive. She's like a being who's also in soul evolution. She's like also asking, she's like a teenager. She's like, who am I? What am I doing? And it's almost like doing acupuncture for her. And so coming to this area and clearing the blockages and some, dark age stuff, like, in certain areas of the world that brought a lot of distortion, and we need to do some quantum healing with her too.
Yes, that's powerful.
Punch, put a certain, I have special things that I put in her for that type of acupuncture, and so it's like recalibrating her, helping her to hold more of that light, more of that frequency, and that helps the whole collective as well. So that's always once a year I go on these journeys that usually guided and channeled a year before. And it's like eventually as you get a lot of information before, but then as you're on the ground you figure out more. But yes, I'm also going to Glastonbury to support Glastonbury Ascension Expo through Portal to Ascension. I do a lot of work with them. I was with them in California recently with Neil Gare, and so they have amazing speakers as well that come in, Steve Nobel and Magenta Pixie and many others. So it will be fun. I've never been to Glastonbury, so it will be fun to be in that area.
Yeah, that energy is it's going to be so heartfelt. I mean, I'm sure you will enjoy it. And thank you for being the light worker, or doing the light work actually, and sharing more light in the world.
Yeah, I don't like to call myself light worker because I don't think I'm a light worker. I'm more I work. I can be both. I think we're here like void creatures. So we're here to I'm really a phoenix, like to integrate the darkness and the light, and that's really, I think, my work is to bring both into coherence. Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out. So I can keep talking with you for hours, and definitely want to bring you back on another episode. This is a great conversation. And those listeners who are here, if you have any questions for Deanna, you're welcome to write in the comment. I will definitely make sure that it will forward to her, and I'll put all the links in the show notes so that you can find out more about her work. And I will see you all
book a session or consult with me at any point. Like, I'm here as a soul guide, like you are, Helen, to help people wherever they are on their journey. Even if you're not sure what session you need or what's next for you, I'm here to support that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for everyone who tuning with us live. And I'll see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Deanna.
Blessings.